Hello, it's Aliki here, and today I'm going to be sharing with you some wonderful wisdom quotes by Thich Nhat Hanh, Michael Singer, and Alan Watts, which hopefully will bring us back into a more aligned and balanced way of living. We're very good at preparing to live, but not very good at living. We know how to sacrifice 10 years for a diploma, and we're willing to work very hard to get a job, a car, a house, and so on. But we have difficulty remembering that we are alive in the present moment, the only moment there is for us to be alive. Do not lose yourself in the past. Do not lose yourself in the future. Don't get caught in your anger, worries, or fears. Come back to the present moment and touch life deeply. You have an appointment with life, an appointment that is in the here and now. Yes, there is tremendous suffering all over the world, but knowing this need not paralyze us. If we practice mindful breathing, mindful walking, mindful sitting, and working in mindfulness, we try our best to help, and we can have peace in our heart. Worrying doesn't accomplish anything. Even if you worry 20 times more, it won't change the situation of the world. In fact, your anxiety will only make things worse. Even though things are not as we would like, we can still be content, knowing that we're trying our best and will continue to do so. If we don't know how to breathe, smile, and live every moment of our life deeply, we will never be able to help anyone. I'm happy in the present moment. I don't ask for anything else. Thich Nhat Hanh says, we're very good at preparing to live, but not very good at living. Isn't that true? He says we're willing to dedicate years of our life to get that qualification, that house, that car, that job. But, he says, we have difficulty remembering that we're alive in the present moment. I'd say that's a pretty important thing to remember, wouldn't you? We're just running along towards these goals, very future focused. Let me just, reach that goal, and then I can relax a bit, and then I can live life, right? In fact, I'm reminded of this reel I saw with Eckhart Tolle, and he's doing this impression of someone, and he's saying, "Oh, I've got so much on my plate. I don't have time to be present right now. Maybe one day in the future, I'll have time." And this is such... Don't we do this? All of us, right? Me included. I spent much of my life doing that, actually. Hopefully by now, if you've been watching some of these videos, you're catching yourself when you're becoming future focused, when you're putting off your happiness, your peace, your satisfaction and contentment with life, because you're waiting for certain conditions to be fulfilled. Listen, you don't need to wait. You don't need to wait. Let's face it, haven't we been waiting long enough? And haven't we been running long enough? And you know where we're all running to, don't you? You know what's coming at the end of all this. So, what's the rush? Do we need to be in such a hurry? Do we? He says, don't lose yourself in the past. Don't lose yourself in the future. Don't get caught in your anger, worries, or fears. He's not saying don't have anger, worry, or fear. And this is where we get tripped up quite a lot, I find, because, you know, having anger, worry, and fears are actually a normal part of being human. We have these emotions. We're not stones. The point here, though, is not to get caught in them. We actually have the capacity to free ourselves from getting caught in our anger, worry, and fears. Isn't that wonderful? Because we have this awareness, this innate wisdom, and all we need to do is take a little journey from the mind to the heart. He says, come back to the present moment and touch life deeply. Touch life deeply. You know, there are many ways to touch life deeply, right? A simple way is just to slow down and stop for a moment. Just take a little quiet moment where you're not on your phone, where you're not absorbed in your thoughts about something. It's very easy to do this out in nature, by the way. Sometimes we're so stuck in our habitual way of living life that it doesn't seem possible to stop. It doesn't seem possible to come back to the present moment because you get so caught up, right? So caught up in that anger, those worries, and those fears. But the good news is that it's not difficult to come back to this moment. It's not difficult at all. You just might believe that it is. So today, I'm going to ask you to prove yourself wrong. In fact, why don't you just pause this video right now for a second and take in your surroundings, wherever you may be. Just look, really look, and listen, really listen. And there you go, you've done it. You came back to this moment. That wasn't hard, was it? Just remember, you can do that again and again and again until it feels so natural, until you realize that, wow, I actually need this because it's kind of exhausting going through life in my head all the time. Come back to the present moment and touch life deeply. I love this line. He says, if we don't know how to breathe, and of course he means breathe consciously here, because we all know how to breathe. Smile. How often do you smile? Really smile. And live every moment of our life deeply. We'll never be able to help anyone. He's got a good point here. Don't let these words feed that old habitual conditioned thought that you're not good enough, that there's something wrong with you. Rather, let these words inspire you and encourage you to spend more of your day slowing down, stopping, breathing, smiling, and tuning in to this moment of life more deeply. We can all do that. We can all do that. He says, I'm happy in the present moment. I don't ask for anything else. Actually, that's a lovely affirmation that we can use to remind us, I'm happy in the present moment. I don't ask for anything else. So much of humanity is running around, trying to achieve something, trying to find happiness and peace. And Thich Nhat Hanh shows us that you can just be happy in the present moment. You just come back for a few moments. You actually don't need anything else right now. Later on, perhaps, yes, but not right now. Right now. There doesn't need to be any drama. There don't need to be any worries. Everything can just be okay. I want you to feel that beautiful realization, that awareness that everything is okay, that you don't need anything in this moment. We almost always think there's something lacking, and we almost always think there's something wrong, don't we? But that's because we're living in our conceptual mind, in our conditioned thought patterns, and forgetting our true home of presence. Life itself is your career, and your interaction with life is your most meaningful relationship. Everything else you're doing is just focusing on a tiny subset of life in an attempt to give life some meaning. What actually gives life meaning is the willingness to live it. It isn't any particular event. It's the willingness to experience life's events. There's nothing wrong with feeling the energies of fear, jealousy, or attraction. It's not your fault that such energies exist. All the attractions, repulsions, thoughts and feelings don't make any difference. They don't make you pure or impure. They're not you. You are the one who's watching, and that one is pure consciousness. Don't think you'd be free if you just didn't have these kinds of feelings. It's not true. If you can be free even though you're having these kinds of feelings, then you're really free. Because there will always be something. I love these words of Michael Singer's. Life is your career, and your interaction with life is your most meaningful relationship. I'll tell you what this means. It means that it doesn't matter so much what you do as how you do it. Because whatever it is that you're doing, there's always the autopilot way and the mindful way. There's the unconscious way and the conscious way. If you can recognize this, you can start to experience a lot more joy, a lot more peace, and a lot more fulfillment in your daily life. Michael says, what actually gives life meaning is the willingness to live it, the willingness to experience life's events. Are you willing to experience life's events? That means not having a wobble every time something doesn't go your way. It means not going through life in such a fearful way, always expecting bad things to happen, because that's what we're being fed by the media. You're not your thoughts. Please remember this. It's a lifesaver. You're not your thoughts. You're the one who is aware of them. So take your place as the one who is aware of them of them more often. Because every time you do, guess what? You become fully present. We want the disturbing thoughts and feelings to go away, and then we'll be happy. Then we can live a life of presence. But that's just the mind's reasoning. That's not the truth. The truth is, as Michael says, if you can be free, even though you're having these kinds of feelings, then you're really free, because there will always be something. Now, some of you might get depressed about that. There's no reason to get upset about that, because knowing that there will always be something means that you're sort of making peace. You're making peace with your human experience. You get over one problem, another one appears. Or you get your mind all nice and settled and you're feeling good, and then stressful thoughts kick in again. There's always going to be something, because we're human. But we're only human for a little while. And we don't want to waste this experience by getting so caught up in all the psychological drama. That would be a waste. Waste of a life, wouldn't it? So please, please, don't wait. Don't wait for your thoughts to settle down. Don't wait to master mindfulness. Don't wait for this problem, this situation to pass before you allow yourself to be present, before you allow yourself to feel free. This freedom, this present awareness doesn't wait for anything. It's not time bound.
The art of living is neither careless drifting on the one hand, nor fearful clinging to the past on the other. It consists in being sensitive to each moment, in regarding it as utterly new and unique, in having the mind open and wholly receptive. You can't understand life and its mysteries as long as you try to grasp it. Indeed, you can't grasp it, just as you can't walk off with a river in a bucket. If you try to capture running water in a bucket, it's clear that you don't understand it, and that you'll always be disappointed. For in the bucket, the water does not run. To have running water, you must let go of it and let it run. No one imagines that a symphony is supposed to improve as it goes along, or that the whole object of playing is to reach the finale. The point of music is discovered in every moment of playing and listening to it. It's the same, I feel, with the greater part of our lives. And if we're unduly absorbed in improving them, we may forget altogether to live them. We thought of life by analogy with a journey, a pilgrimage, which had a serious purpose at the end. And the thing was to get to that end, success or whatever it is, maybe heaven after you're dead. But we missed the point the whole way along. It was a musical thing, and you were supposed to sing or to dance while the music was being played.
Alan Watts says that the art of living consists in being sensitive to each moment, in regarding it as utterly new and unique, in having the mind open and fully receptive. Now, how on earth can we have the mind open and fully receptive if we're constantly thinking about stuff that stresses us out? Do you see how going through life the way you always have done has deadened your sensitivity to each moment? You know, when you get out of that dark, dismal, defeated place of your conditioned mind, when you don't live there all the time, you start to become a lot more sensitive to each moment. Each moment is packed with life, and it's to be experienced, it's to be enjoyed, it's to be treasured and appreciated. And then you can become someone who goes through life with a grateful heart. And there's nothing better than that. Alan gives us a couple of incredible pictures of how life works and what we're trying to do with it. He says, if you try to capture running water in a bucket, it's clear that you don't understand it and that you'll always be disappointed. For in the bucket, the water does not run. To have running water, he says, you must let go of it and let it run. To have quality of life, you must let go of living in your mind. Of believing your thoughts and letting them take up so much of your attention. To have abundant life, we must let go of the old way of living and come back to now. And the other beautiful analogy is that of a symphony. What is the point of music anyway? The point isn't to get to the end of it. The point is to enjoy it as it's unfolding, right? He says the point of music is discovered in every moment of playing and listening to it. Wow! What if we were to apply this to life? The point of life is discovered in every moment of living it. Actually living it. Not thinking about it, but living it. He says if we're unduly absorbed in improving our lives, we may forget altogether to live them. Now, I've done a few videos about this matter of self-improvement and how we can get very caught up in that. And there's no blame attributed here because we're all coming from the same longing in our hearts. We want to feel at home. We want to experience true rest, true meaning in our lives, right? But again, we get so caught up in the idea that something's wrong, something's missing, something needs to always improve, things can always get better. Remember, you've been fed this from a very early age. But it's okay because we've grown up now. We've matured and we can start to live a life of remembering what's true, what matters, remembering who we are by realizing who we're not. When your thoughts about yourself become your identity, that's the ego, and that's not who we are. That might be a character who we play in this life, but it's not who we really are. Much deeper than that. Alan says, we thought of life as a journey with a serious purpose at the end of it. How many of us are chasing our idea of success, for example? But, he says, we missed the point the whole way along. We keep missing the point. That's why I make these videos. I don't want us to keep missing the point. I want us to get it. It was a musical thing. You were supposed to sing or dance while the music was being played. Life is a musical thing. We don't have to suffer through it. We can sing or dance our way through it. Embrace the day no matter what it brings. And just decide, I'm going to dance my way through it, no matter what. Not let things get too heavy and serious. But there's also the other dance of life that I like to talk about quite often. When you allow yourself to go back and forth between consciousness and unconsciousness, because that's going to happen anyway. So why not allow it? Why not make peace with it? It's the dance of life, right? You're not going to always be 100% fully present. You're not going to always be 100% peaceful, joyful, wise, clear about what to do, fulfilled with life, because we're in this divine and mystical dance. You know, our nature is both human and divine. So there's a dance going on between the world of form and the formless, between getting caught up in everything that's going on in your life and knowing yourself as the awareness in which it's all happening. It's a glorious dance. So this week, as you go about your daily life, remember to slow down, breathe, smile, walk and work with presence. You may not be in control of what's happening out there, but you can certainly be someone who embodies the energy of peace and love in this world. Remember that all these thoughts and feelings that have bothered you so much aren't who you are, and that you can allow them to come and go freely without giving them so much meaning. And finally, give yourself a break from trying to catch running water in a bucket, and remember that life is a musical thing. So let yourself sing and dance through it. In fact, I've done a whole video about this. Actually, do you know what? Talking of fears, that's one of my greatest fears, that one of these days a pigeon will bless me in a way I don't wish to be blessed. We're not this mind-created identity. Life is your career.